One faith, family, and seed. We are one. Hello, and welcome to Paramount Baptist Church. Here are your weekly announcements. Our 2023 campaign focus is on creativity, defining culture, connecting, and commitment. Stay with us, and let's go. The new preaching series is underway, so be here every Sunday as we continue to grow and learn as the world turns. Have you been watching the Beyond the Sermon podcast? You don't want to miss out on some great discussions about true lessons for living. Tune in on Tuesday night at 7 with our Peacock Proud Pastor. Parents, remember to bring your children ages 4 to 12 to Children's Church, offered every second and fourth Sundays. Looking for a safe and convenient place to bank? Have you started that Christmas savings account? It's not too late. Stop by the Paramount Credit Union and speak to a representative about all the services they offer. In need of prayer? Join the Mountain Prayer Conference Call every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30. Trusting God through hard times. Ladies, we also look forward to connecting with you on Thursday mornings at 7 a.m. for our Women's Prayer Conference Call. The Gap Ministry will have real talk on the real issue. Are you grieving the Holy Spirit? Let's hear from you on June the 1st at 7 p.m. Young ladies ages 6 to 18, you should be shining brightly for the whole world to see. Are you letting your light shine? Join our Diamonds in the Rough ministry, where you will learn and do so many new and fun activities. The tradition has returned, and the Diamonds in the Rough will be hosting a formal cotillion on July 22nd at the Waldorf JC's, honoring our two seniors, Taylor Foster and Mahadia Long. See Dr. Shannon Williams to secure your seat. Have you found and made your way back to your in-person Sunday school class? The teachers are waiting to welcome and receive you back immediately following the worship service. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are raising awareness. Join the Body and Soul Ministry Monday, May 22nd at 7 o'clock p.m. for an open discussion on mental health, facilitated by Dr. Shannon Williams. This concludes your weekly announcements.
Good evening, Paramount family and friends, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Sermon. The Rewind. The Rewind, because we had so much fun last week with this great panel of guests that we had. We decided to just do another rewind of this. So, first and foremost, we are here with our pastor, the Peacock Proud Pastor of the Paramount Baptist Church, Reverend Kenneth Rioland Jr. How are you doing tonight, Pastor?
Man, I'm great. I got a chance to hang out with some really cool people for another week, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, we definitely enjoyed ourselves last week, and we said, hey, can y'all all come back again next week? Schedules permitting, and thank God schedules permitted for this happen. But let's go around the table and do the introductions of everyone. So to my far left, Sister Layla Warwick. How are we doing tonight, Layla?
I am lovely.
Lovely she is. She's lovely.
She's lovely. Sitting here next to me, Elder Fred Cleveland. How are we doing tonight, Elder?
I'm doing well. Doing very well.
All right. Sitting next to Pastor, Minister in Training, Sister Teresa Days. How are we doing, Sister Teresa?
I'm wonderful. Just so happy to spin the block with you guys one more time.
I like that. Sitting next to her, Sister Shelby Wright Johnson. How are we doing, Shelby?
Feeling grateful and happy to be here.
And on the far side, known professionally as Chancellor J, my son, Chandler Jordan. Chandler, how are we doing this evening?
I'm feel good, running it back with you all. This is a great opportunity.
All right, good. So we've been talking about world culture.
Yeah.
We've been getting into world culture. Pastor dropped some knowledge about us being, a part of the world, but not necessarily being of the world. And we talked about a lot of things. We talked about access. We talked about drugs. We talked about a lot of stuff.
Consumption.
We talked about a lot of different things. And now we brought the panel back again. And we want to get into a couple more items talking about the world. So, Pastor, you want to go ahead and just start off with, what we're discussing with everybody out there first and foremost before we jump in?
Sure. So just so we all understand what's happening, we're in this preaching series called "As the World Turns," and dealing with the reality that in culture we are impacted and influenced by world culture. It's impossible unless you live under a rock, you're going to be impacted or be exposed to the things of the world. Television, music, there are social media. There's so many different ways that the world's culture comes at us. And then the question becomes, how do I, as a believer in Jesus Christ, how do I, as an ambassador of the kingdom of God, operate in this world culture? And so that's the conversation. That's what we're trying to address, because here's the truth. I gotta figure out how to navigate in this world without becoming worldly. Right. And so that's what we're trying to do in a very practical way.
And of course, when we're talking about practical, let's just jump into this first one. I want to jump into this first one because this is something that I was thinking about, and I know that everyone in this panel feels a lot about it. Music.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody around here likes music.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody here listens to music.
Yes.
So let's get into this music thing. Okay, so in my seat, I'm a DJ.
Yes.
Elder Cleveland's a singer. Sister Teresa is a singer. Chandler's a singer. Lay's a singer.
In my mind, I'm a musician.
But she does sing with us.
She does sing.
I sing, but in my mind, I really want to play.
And Pastor's
I wanna
an
be a part of
aspiring
the band.
singer.
Aspiring, okay.
He's an aspiring singer.
Okay.
Singer.
All right.
He's an aspiring singer. So I'm going to start with Chan, because Chandler said something the last time we were together about, his music that he creates and some of the things that he's put in his music so that people know that he has some, relevancy and some base in being a Christian. So Chan, let's start with you there with several of your songs that you've done. And the whole thing about music, and how much influence for you creating music are you like listening to other worldly artists to try to get ideals or anything of that nature? What is the scope for you?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna be honest. I got a lot of I guess tones and like cadences from just being in church and service, like hearing the choir sing like certain runs, certain harmonies, certain like phrases and statements. I mean, everything isn't just like straight from church, but I got a lot of sounds and I picked up on a lot of things. And even like my love for music came from just being in this space. Because I started off in the choir. I mean, I still sing with the choir here and there.
Hallelujah.
But, it started here, and it helped me to get to where I am as just an artist, as myself. But other than that, I feel like the worldly music, you got to know what you want to feed your spirit.
Right.
Because there's some music out there that, it just doesn't have the right message for you. And you listen to it, but if you just take every single word and phrase and statement they say and interpret it to your life, that's not going to help you. Right. But if you find something in that song, whether it's a great song, it's a religious song, or it's just a song that you probably shouldn't be listening to at all, if you find something in there and it helps you as better yourself as a person, then by all means, just you have free range to do that. You're your own person. You can listen to whatever you want to listen to.
Okay, so I'm gonna flip it over here to Elder, because Elder does a lot of writing and composing himself.
Recording artist.
And a recording artist himself. So when you're thinking of music to create, produce, I mean, how much of it is you're saying, you know what? I don't know if these folks gonna really listen to this thing unless I put this type of beat or this type of kind of sound to it. What goes on in your mind with that when you're creating?
So when I'm creating, I definitely always have to consider my audience. Who am I speaking to? Because music is all about communication. It's one of the biggest forms of communication.
Sure.
So, and then with that, I've done a lot of traveling overseas, and I've learned that music also crosses language. I mean, it crosses so many different barriers that sometimes our speaking language can't even cross, but music, it can cross that. Just people not even understanding the language, they can hear it and get with it.
Feel it.
And they can feel it. And when I'm writing music, of course, I'm writing out of experience. I'm writing out of from a heart, but I'm also considering, all right, what are sounds that I know the people can understand and receive? Because I'm not writing music for myself. Right. I want them to, I'm writing it to share. So that's a major piece, like writing music so that people can receive it and receive something from it, And I would say most writers are writing with that in mind, whether it's in Christian music or gospel music or spiritual music or secular music, non-Christian music. They're writing, trying to get their point across or whatever's in their heart, whether it be good or bad. They try to get it out.
And that's the thing. I like when you say the good or bad, because I'm about to go around the table. And I like how Pastor will always say, you're not trying to be messy. I'm going to be messy for a couple seconds here.
Right.
Okay, so here we are. We're all in different generations here. And there's one common music that I'm going to jump on. I can say R&B and I can say rap. I can say those two and jump on it. But if we all went around the table right about now and asked a question about certain rap artists, certain R&B artists and stuff like that, we all probably going to have somebody totally different. We either like, don't like, or whatever the music does, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna start here with Pastor.
All right.
Pastor.
Yep.
Okay. Not listening to anything that's gospel music or something like that. Yep. If you had to mention someone that's a worldly artist that you listen to, who would it be?
So what's the genre? Is it R&B or is it rap?
Let's go with rap. I'm gonna go with rap. There's a reason why I'm gonna go with rap first. There's a reason why I'm going with rap first.
So today, it would probably I'm a Nelly guy. I'm a LL Cool J guy. I'm a Luda guy. I'm sorry, his name is Ludacris. I'm a Luda guy. If you take me back, I'm Biggie.
Facts.
I'm
Pastor, you from Florida? You don't like?
Yeah, I'm gonna say so. Okay, so Luke. So I had a Luke.
You know I was going with.
There was a season in my life that me and Luke. I actually have a story that I can't tell here. But yes. Me and the Two Live crew, we have met. So I all of that. Yes, and there are many more. Nas. I could go on. I like rap.
Okay, all right. So Shelby, I'm coming to you. What rap artist first? Let's go for this.
MC Light.
Come on, Light.
Okay.
I like MC Light. Present day, my kids are laughing. I like Glorilla.
Okay. Come on, Glow.
And outside of R&B, I'm a huge Prince fan.
Oh, okay.
Some lyrics are racy. If you really listen to them, some of them are beautiful.
Yep. Right. They're definitely. Just real quick. I'm gonna hit Layla and then I'm go for Teresa, and then you'll see why I started talking about rap first. All right, Layla.
I don't often listen to rap. I listen to a lot of music in different genres, but if it had to do with rap, Eminem. By far.
Come on, Em.
Yeah. He's a lyricist.
If I can pick one rapper to listen to for the rest of my life, say what you want about Eminem and his controversies, but Eminem, he can rap.
Bars.
Okay.
Bars.
I know the audience is like, where is Brother Corey going with this? You'll see in a few minutes. Sister Teresa, if you had to pick somebody.
So I I'm like Layla, I'm a singer, so a lot of times when I listen to music, I'm listening to music to study, to listen to the different runs and things like that to kind of help me hone my craft. But every now and again, when I need to push through that day at work, I listen to a little J. Cole. I might listen to Big Crit if I need a huge, push for the day. I like Kendrick Lamar.
Come on, Kendrick.
And even though they're probably not considered rap, I'm a Fugees kind of person. So kind of leaning towards like the old school Biggie, Tupac too, because you got to keep your head up.
Yeah, she did that.
That's kind of my feel. If I'm trying to kind of go to rap, I don't really like the newer guys because I don't be knowing what they be saying.
Okay, and this is where and this is exactly where I want to go. So we're talking. We all just shared something about music that we like and listen to and stuff like that. So here's the big thing. I'm gonna ask Chan and I'm gonna ask Elder in a few seconds here. I want y'all to keep this in mind. The world's rap artists influencing what the world does.
Yes.
We're gonna go in a second. So Chan, who would taste in rapper, R&B? We can go that way for you there.
I'm kind of on the same deal as Teresa. I listen to a lot of J. Cole. I don't know one of his albums. You know, there's a few of them you could just play it straight through, no skips. Yeah. Yep. So I'm gonna say J. Cole.
All right, Elder.
I don't listen to a lot of rap, but I do listen. I study artists.
Right.
So, so there are things about their stories because I'm more into their stories.
Right.
And then also their style. Lyrically, you know, when you get into the words and things like that, I would have to say Kendrick. I would have to say Lil Baby.
Yeah.
They're probably two that really, and J. Cole, of course. They really stick out to me for now.
Of course.
Biggie's always like.
Yeah, Biggie's always going to be up there. All right, but see, when we've been talking about this influence that the world has on us, and rap music is getting ready to is celebrating 50 years.
Yes.
Celebrating 50 years.
Yes.
As a focal music point. Not necessarily they're talking about it's, you know, we know R&B has been around, we know pop's been around, we know country, we know all of that. Rap music started off, and this is where I'm going to test my piece of jumping it in there, and then y'all's artists that y'all mentioned. 50 years. I know Pastor probably was around the same time I was around when it first started off.
Hibbity.
Yeah, when it was just the Sugar Hill Gang and Curtis Blow and Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going into the old school. Right. But there was a thing back then and now. Then it was just a party. Yeah. It was designed to be a music for people to have fun, dance, and enjoy themselves. Yeah. Now, we're talking a lot about our friends that are watching tonight,
right.
And they're like, okay, y'all talking this whole world thing, and y'all about to condemn music and fun and stuff like that. Can we get into that about how is it that we can let people realize, look, don't let the influences of what we hear,
right,
changing how we act in the world,
right,
and what we do in the world,
right.
You got to know where. I think you have to know where you currently are mentally, and be very mindful, again, like Chandler said, about what you feed in your spirit. Because if we talk about it, music was the first sound of the morning in the Bible.
Watch yourself.
And
Watch yourself.
We also talk about how Saul needed music to calm down.
Let me say something sometime. You just take him home. Go ahead, preach, why don't you?
Minister Trent. So when we're talking about music, I think that, like, for me, if I'm like not feeling my best, not because again we're human, and so if I'm not feeling my best or I'm feeling sad, or maybe because again I'm married, we're human, I might be having some marital issues. I don't want to hear Tony Braxton Love Should Have Brought You Home Last Night, because that's probably gonna take me down under through there. So
Mercy.
You gotta. I mean, my husband come home now, y'all. Okay. Hallelujah. But when we talk about those things, if you start digging into music, music is a spiritual thing.
Yes.
It just depends on what spirit that you want to feed.
Yes.
So whatever spirit you want to feed, that's probably what you're going to listen to. But I would not want to listen to Jasmine Sullivan sad songs if I'm already sad. So I think it's where you are mentally. You have to be mindful about what you're listening to.
Definitely, and I like what Chandler said about feeding your spirit, feeding music and spirit. I know Elder was about to go. Go ahead, what you about to say about that, Elder?
One thing that I've learned, because I've done music overseas as well, and I would say American Western culture, we're the only ones who kind of like separate those things as far as like music being as spiritual as it really is. Over there, all of it, it means something to them spiritually. There's no separation. Like every word, every lyric matters.
Wow.
Because it's
saying
special
something.
to them.
Yeah. Well, and let me say something that's going to be really kind of controversial. First of all, as a music lover, maybe not a music producer, but as a music lover, I think what Dee said, what Cleveland has said is all true. It speaks to your spirit in different ways. Music can calm. Music can hype. Music can can frustrate. Right, it's a lot of different things. And so what I have to understand is I have two portals to my soul. Yeah. My eyes and my ears. Wow. Those are the entrances to my soul. Yeah. So whatever I'm consuming visually or audibly, it impacts how I operate. So then the question becomes, what is it that where am I trying to go that I'm digesting this music? If I'm listening to, and let me just put myself on the chopping block. If I'm listening to Luda, is it because I'm trying to get hype? I'm ready to fight. No, the pastor shouldn't be fighting. Right. Right. Now, to be honest, it's nostalgia for me because I was at a different time in my life. So sometimes I listen to it just for enjoyment. What I want to say to us is, and we always want to walk away making sure that nobody feels condemned. Music can be enjoyed. It's designed to entertain, but you do have to be careful of the mindset that you're in when you consume it. Because if you're not careful, be very clear, it can take you down a path. Yeah. Yes. It can ignite certain thoughts, certain feelings, certain memories, because some of those songs remind y'all of certain people at that time.
Yes, yeah, Jasmine Sullivan will get you locked up.
Right. But let me also say this. Let me say this, though. While we're talking about the world culture, not all gospel music is all that uplifting either. Or not only is it not uplifting, it's not Christ-centered.
Right.
Well, a lot of stuff that we call gospel, because the gospel is the good news. Right. Well, then if the good news is Jesus Christ, because you say Jesus in the song somewhere. So I'm not suggesting that you got to sit and listen to gospel 24 hours a day. I'm simply saying be mindful that Satan, his first job was praise team leader, no shade intended, minister of music in heaven, right? And got kicked out for getting a little too high on his horse. But music is designed to be enjoyed and to be consumed, but you got to just be mindful that it does have an impact if you're not careful.
And I like you said that because Layla, you had something about the ideal about this. Let's talk about it because you mentioned Eminem. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Eminem, and one of the things about it, you said it's controversial, but he can be very convincing with his lyrical content. Mm. Okay? He can be very convincing with his lyrical content. The first song in my head that I think about with Eminem, where he can be convincing in his lyrical content, was Stan.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
You remember Stan?
Do you know that song?
You remember that song? So, how did you take it? How do you take that as hearing that? Because I'm thinking about this whole song and what he was saying to someone else. Or this guy is talking to him in a letter, but it's influencing him to do things that he says, I should do that. You did it. So how do you feel about that? I mean, you just mentioned Mr. Marshall Mathers. But though I'm trying to hype people up and make sure they know who these artists are and stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna speak from a general perspective. My father tells me all the time that I listen to controversial artists. My favorite singer is Elvis Presley.
All right.
She has good taste. My favorite rapper is Eminem. So when I think about these songs and what they mean, like I said, I take them mentally. I'm addicted to music. Let's put that out there. I have 2,000 songs on my phone. Wow. It's my whole storage is music.
Thanks.
Yours too.
I was going. There's your partner on the other end over there for that one.
And when I hear controversial lyrics, I analyze music hard. The same way I analyze books, the same way I analyze movies. I think about what they mean, about their motive. When I think of Eminem's motive is when he does interviews about several of his songs. One spoke out about his daughter. Somebody attacked his child, and he came in defense the only way he knew was music. Elvis Presley grew up in an environment where he only knew certain things. So he acted on his certain things and was called controversial because he didn't give credit. Now, I'm not going to say what he did was right. I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm saying Jailhouse Rock was a bop. If I Can Dream what took people to different emotions because a white male was singing about a controversial topic at the time.
Right.
That's why I like controversial music. It speaks volumes. There's a lot of artists that play it safe. I don't like that.
Gotcha.
I'm someone who, I want to be a lawyer. I'm going to wrestle.
I know that's right, girl. Welcome to the club.
I want to wrestle with controversial topics. I want to argue with those controversial topics. So when I hear music, when I hear Elvis say, if I can dream for a warmer sun, or when I hear Eminem say, we need more controversy without me, I think of what they stand for. They're being vocal. They're confident about it. So when I hear these controversial topics, when I hear them talking about it, I don't hear they're horrible, they're disgusting, they're da-da-da. I hear them being confident. Confidence is key in this world. You wouldn't go nowhere if you're silent. Black Lives Matter wouldn't be what it is if people were silent. So that's all I got to say about that.
All right.
So now I'm gonna jump across the pond here. So to your partner across here who has same amount, just full of music, same thing. When you hear Layla's point about music that she likes, controversial artists because it sparks something. How does that make you feel? Understanding that we're talking about that what they're saying influences other people in the world.
As an artist, no matter what genre you're in or you produce music for, you're throwing your hat into controversy, whether you're a gospel artist, a rap artist, an R&B artist, because your vision or what your message you're trying to portray doesn't always affect everybody. It's not like I could put a song out and 100% people like my music, or they're going to interpret my message as what it is. So I could be talking about a fight, but the fight could just be a spiritual fight and me trying to heal from that. Somebody might take that as in, no, I need to actually go out and fight.
Right.
So no disrespect to NBA Youngboy, but he has a community. No matter what song he puts out, it sparks controversy. And some people are just music lovers that like his music. But then there are some people that literally take his music, take every single lyric,
Absolutely.
and live their life like that.
Right.
And just being an artist, you gotta, like she said, don't play it safe. There are some people that really have to play it safe in this world, in this music world, because you never know what sparks from that. And throwing your hat into controversy as an artist is a dangerous thing, but it's also, a spark too. You can also affect people's lives in a positive way and bring them into a different direction where you want them to go versus them just living the lifestyle just because they hear what you're saying and not interpret it the right way.
It made me think about, he talked about NBA Youngboy. Look at Beyonce's Following. Now, I'm not a Beehive fan, sorry, not sorry. I'm not. But if you look at that and how, I can guarantee you, she said go rob Wegmans right now, baby, them people finna get them ski masks.
Yeah.
You ain't finna find a chicken leg or a piece of lettuce in there because they're going to clean the place out. So you do have those people. And here's the thing, she could not be talking about robbing Wegmans, but if she said it, because of her following and the influence she has, they're going to go do it, as opposed to kind of trying to, how Layla said, analyzing what she's saying or taking it from a perspective of, let me kind of try to find it. Sometimes I'll look up, what did this person mean when they wrote this song?
Right.
Because if I'm like, this don't sound right. It's getting creepy. I gotta look it up.
So I want to go to the next topic, but I want to close by saying this. What Sister D said is how impactful B is on her following. Here's the question: what if the kingdom was that impactful?
Wow.
What if
He just went over it.
What if people followed us that way? What if the things that we were saying were that compelling that it would draw others, that would draw others to want to be led by us? We've got to be. That's what I keep talking about. We got to stop letting the world impact us, and the kingdom has to find a way to impact the world. And one of the things that Bishop T.D. Jakes talks about all the time is that the kingdom has to be in all genres of life. So we need to be in music, and we need to be in politics, and we need to be in the law arena. Why? Because you have to impact stuff from the inside. So the only way different kind of movies are going to be made is if believers are in Hollywood.
Right.
And only way the right kind of books are going to be written is if believers are authors. And so we don't have to just be in gospel. It's okay to be in other genres, but just remain who you're supposed to be while you're there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
On the way to the next topic.
Definitely. Well,
I like that.
I like that because now I like earlier he said, you know, what we consume through our eyes and what we consume through our ears. Yeah. To get into our next topic piece, it's like, and when you said about choosing the right types of music and what you do, and on my side, sitting here, and most of you who know when I'm out there and we're DJing for block parties and stuff like that, I am very deliberate about making sure that what I'm playing is something that people know there's gospel, but that I also make sure that I'm not playing something where it's like taking you so far to the left bank.
Right.
That you're thinking, oh man, he is. But I do want you to have fun.
Absolutely.
I do want you to have fun. We're going to get into the fun thing in a few minutes. We're going to get into the fun thing. But Pastor said something about consuming something through your eyes.
Okay.
So I want to jump this one. I'm going to throw this one out. Fashion.
Y'all know I love me some clothes now.
Fashion.
Shop.
We found out last week when we got together, Layla lost her mind about saying if shopping was a sin. Y'all
got nervous.
Remember that one.
She got nervous.
She got nervous about that one.
I did. I did.
But let's talk about it. Fashion. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Fashion. How the world fashion is looked upon, and then when we talk about us being part of being part of the kingdom, being citizens of the kingdom, and what fashion states for us. Okay, Shelby, I'm gonna jump to you first. I'm gonna come to Shelby. Okay. So Shelby, when you think of fashion, what is the first thoughts that come in your mind about fashion?
Classiness. I like classic looks. I like modesty, honestly, I really do. And I like age appropriateness.
Say more about that. What does that look like?
Speak on that one. Speak on that one.
I don't want to step on toes, but I like age appropriateness. Like I'm 46. I don't want to wear or have the same look as my 25-year-old daughter.
Right.
Like, she can wear a crop top. Even if I had my dream body, I wouldn't wear a crop top.
Okay.
I think it's appropriateness.
Okay.
And even though she can wear a crop top, I really feel like there's a time and a place for the crop top.
Okay.
I know. I struggle with what is it called, Layla? Body positivity?
Yeah.
Please don't beat me up. Again, I like modesty.
Right.
Everything is not for everybody.
Right. So they can beat me up.
Okay.
Sometimes.
You got a Peter. They can't beat you up now. You got a Peter.
No. It's all right.
Think
It's
about
all right.
this.
They can come for me. I'm a huge proponent of body positivity, and I think we have to love ourselves as we are. I think we should also be striving to be what we can and should be. Having said that, I think sometimes we use popular terminology as an excuse to be raggedy.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like sometimes it's not about being about body shaming. It's about the fact that we don't need to know everything about your body. That has been reserved for you and your mate. But please don't force all of you on the rest of us. Like that's
Absolutely.
not and so then the argument is, well, why can't I wear whatever I want to? You can. You certainly, it's lawful.
It's lawful.
It may not be expedient. It may not be expedient. And
You can't get upset with me if I don't want to see it.
right. And some of the people that are hyping you to do that aren't really helping you. They really are laughing behind your face.
Exactly.
Right.
Or laughing behind your back. So I think we have to be careful in giving the excuse for don't shame me for you just being out of pocket. And let me say this about fashion. So Shelby talked about it. I was watching a few weeks ago the gala at the Metropolitan at the Met.
Oh, yeah.
And so that is the fashion, that's the Super Bowl of fashion. I think that's how they refer to it. And there's a lot of, there's some classiness and some classic looks, and then there's a lot of over the top. And that's what that is. Again, you have to ask yourself the question, why? Like when I put on whatever it is I'm putting on, what's my why? What am I projecting? Why do I want you to see this body part? Or why do I need to see your heartbeat through the clothes that you're wearing? Why does it have to be that tight that we can see your pulse from it? Like, what's the why? What's the why, right? I think so it's one thing to express yourself, it's something else to expose yourself. Yeah. So I think that's one of the things we have to deal with fashion.
Very good. So I guess I'll call myself a stylist here.
Okay. Tell them the name of your business.
So the name of my business is called The Aesthetic Way. And I always say if you're going to do things, do them the aesthetic way. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know.
So it is in the works. The official
now.
launch has not come yet, but it is coming soon. And so I've actually taken classes regarding clothing and right down to you have to sometimes dress for your body shape. It's not that we're trying to say body shame. It's not that we're trying to say, hey, don't have body positivity. Just like Pastor said, like appreciate your body as it is right then, but work to get to where you would like to be. But I think that when it comes to fashion, a lot of times, even because again, we're talking about the church, we're trying to keep up with the world as opposed to embracing who we are as the church or even as the kingdom. And so I think that at times we try to keep up with what's hot. We try to keep up with the trend, even though, we gonna be honest, some of that stuff is ugly, y'all. Okay?
It is.
Some of that stuff is ugly. Them big red boots that look like you participating in Mario Kart.
It look like the Smurf.
Something's happening. Like,
the Smurf shoes.
You don't have to purchase those. But I think if we're taking a look at, because Shelby talked about class ain't gonna ever go out of style, ever. Those timeless pieces that, hey, I'm not just buying it just for the sake of buying it. How can I flip this 6 different ways?
That's right.
How can I turn this into, hey, I'm going to take this shirt, but not only can I wear this shirt at church, I can also wear it at work. I can go to date night. I can do whatever else with this shirt.
Right, and I'm glad you said that because I know I'm going to come to Elder and I'm going to come to Chandler with this one because it's like I'm coming to Elder because a lot of times when I see Elder in the pulpit during praise and worship time, Elder got a fashion style.
Look at his face.
Yes.
He got a fashion style.
Right.
He got a fashion style.
I can always count on him. I'm telling y'all.
And every time I see it, I'm sitting there like, yo, that's a style. But he said it early. He says everything it's his style that he creates. So talk about it, like the way that the styling that you were talking about when we talk about the fashion, that you being a praise leader, being in the pulpit. Yeah, so, I mean, I appreciate that. So that's why I'm asking him and Chan. When we're talking about men in fashion, what's the thing for us? I know that, we went to the ladies about it. So let's talk the brother fashion. Let's talk brother fashion now.
I mean, for me, music and fashion go hand in hand.
Yes. Yes.
So music, you're trying to say something. Fashion, you're trying to say something. So what are you trying to say? It's packaging. What are you trying to say about who you are, even what you do? I mean, so many different aspects about yourself. You have 1, 2, 3 items or plus to say that, a day. Right. Maybe multiple times a day.
Maybe multiple.
Yeah. But you have, so it's really what do I want to say about myself right now.
I like that.
Because
That's
next
very
year might
good.
change. My style may change.
change.
You know,
That's
next
very
year,
good.
Right.
or next week. You know,
Yeah,
Who
it could
knows?
change. It can change. How do you? Same thing. Same question about.
Yeah, I feel like with fashion for guys, it just depends on, how you feel as a person, but also it just depends on who you want to portray yourself to as, like who you want to portray yourself to people as.
Right.
Like I had in school, I used to just wear sweatpants and sweatsuits. Then I kind of, like how you said, the music, you selling yourself, the fashion you selling yourself. If you look at a music video compared to me just walking down the street one day, you wouldn't tell I'm the same person. Even my little cousin said it. He walked up to me, he was like, "Why don't you dress like that all the time?"
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing these sweatsuits.
You made a good point.
I'm trying to, I want to feel comfortable with what I wear, but also at the same time, when I'm doing that, that's business, and I'm trying to sell myself
That's
and
very
like promote my image. So I just think being comfortable with who you are starts off with being comfortable with who you are before you get into what you wear. Yeah.
I
So-
like that because my son, you all are close in age, so I know like he was in high school. I would always fuss like, why do you have those shorts on and a hoodie and some Crocs and it's 85 degrees outside?
Right.
He would go to school and look like he did not care. But then when it was time to go out with his friends and hang with his friends and the girl or whatever, he looks so nice. He put it together so nice. And he does it now too. He's gotten better with the sweatshirt and the shorts. But he said to me in school, he said, "Mom, I'm trying to pass. I'm not thinking about anything
Right.
else. I don't care what I look like. I'm just trying to pass."
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I learned that the hard way. I think I did a project on this actually. I always say for teenagers, accept your phases, your fashion phases. I had 3 phases each year for high school. Freshman year was my Instagram baddie, had the long braid, the bold eyebrows, the big like overlining lips. Sophomore year, I was a goth, and I wore like all black. I wore all black. I wore like the '90s lips and everything. And then this year, I'm more into like baggies. And I think when senior year hit, it's gonna be something else.
Right.
But
Give them a little preppy. Go ahead, girl.
So I do want to say this though about fashion, right? And we're talking about the world, but then we have to be careful about the world's fashion when we bring it into the house of God.
Agreed.
Right.
Yes.
So here's what we've said. Fashion is saying something. It's expressing something. It's communicating.
Right.
Right. But what am I communicating when I come in here? I'm communicating. What I came here to do is to lift up the name of the Lord. So I got to be careful that I don't become a distraction
Yes.
from the main purpose of me being here. Right, and so you'll notice some pastors that either they're always in robes or they're always in the uniform. We call the uniform if you're in a black suit, white shirt, black tie. That's so boring. You know why? Because I don't want anything to take away from my delivery of the message. I don't want the pop in my. And sometimes, maybe I am gonna put on a suit and it may have some pop to whatever. But you got to understand the behind the scenes. Why did we dress up? Why do we dress up when we come to church? Historically, our ancestors they weren't able to put on nice things until Sunday when they came to church. That was the reason for dressing up. So we just got to be careful of how we handle fashion in the household of faith because I don't want anything to distract from the worship of God. And so if my fashion is so eye-catching that it's taking the attention away from God, then I'm out of pocket.
But I think it's not just when you come to church on Sunday. It's when you come to rehearsal. It's when you come to Bible study. It's when you come to the event that the church has. That can consider to be a distraction too because I can't wear a crop top on U Street and then wear that same crop top here in church.
Right.
At rehearsal or wherever, because here's the thing: when we come in here, or when we come and we do anything for the kingdom, which everything we should be doing is as unto the Lord. However, when we do that, I think that can cause a distraction too. So I think that whenever we're around our kinfolk, is what I like to call my fellow Christians, we have to be mindful of what we wear. And here's the thing, because sometimes too, you don't know where the Christians gonna be and where your church people gonna be. So you still have to be mindful of, of what you wear. Not saying that you can't wear a crop top, because I do own crop tops. Just saying, but I'm just simply saying you still have to be mindful, not just of Sunday morning, but we're Christ representers.
Right. So again, I'm always really, really intentional about this message being clear. This is not about condemnation. We're not. I don't buy your clothes. I'm not in your closet. I'm simply saying what we have to understand as kingdom dwellers is I'm communicating something not only by what I say, but by what I wear. That I am projecting an image, and I got to be careful that I don't project more of the world than I do of the kingdom.
And you just said a word, image.
Okay.
You just said a word, image.
All right.
And I want to go here. I'm ready to go to this topic, and this is going to be one of those where if everyone is in this and we're great, and I know some people out there might be like, okay, wow, they really went here. Image, aka identity.
Okay.
So we live in a world where we're using so many different terminologies. So many terminologies to express identity.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
We use a lot of pronouns.
Yes. Yeah, pronouns.
A lot of pronouns.
Yeah, that's the word.
And I know that we all deal with people who are using the pronouns and stuff like that. And some people are like, well, why are they using these pronouns? I know we've all been talking. I know, like, people, like, we talk about it, and some people are like, do I really understand why they're using them and everything?
I don't.
It's explain.
Well,
go ahead.
But before you explain what you don't understand, here's what we mean when we say pronouns. In this day and time, Corey is a man. Under past expectations, he's he or him. Right? We live in a day and time now that Corey may not identify as a he or him. What does that mean, Pastor? It means he may not feel like a him. And so that's not his pronoun. And so you have to almost literally ask people, and I do it. I have done it even here in this church. How do you identify? Because you're not always sure what pronoun people use. I want to make sure y'all understand what we're talking about when we say pronouns. Now, having said that, Shelby, tell me why you don't understand it.
Uh-oh, she had that look on her face. That look.
Sorry, I'm very lost. I'm too much of a biological definition of he and she.
Right.
Corey is a man because biologically he has body parts of a man.
Okay.
Teresa is a woman because biologically she has body parts of a woman.
Okay.
Even if we took what Teresa has and tried to make it.
Don't take it. I ain't got much. Don't take it.
For Corey.
Right.
Try to make it for Corey because let's say in this other dimension, he wants to identify as Teresa. It doesn't change what he is, from my understanding.
Right.
It doesn't change the biological makeup of Corey.
Sure.
Go ahead, Chan, because it's a chance wants to.
I can speak on a little bit. Just being in the music and the theater world, you see a lot of it, and I love all people. Just let y'all know that.
Sure.
I do too.
Yeah. But it's not really how it's determined now. It's more of a psychological thing.
That's right.
And it's more so what you think versus what is portrayed.
Right.
So that's probably why you don't understand it, because it's not physical anymore.
Right.
It used to be.
And I'll say this. I'll say this too. You said Corey is a man. There are some that would argue with you that Corey is a male because of his body parts.
Yeah.
So I might be a male in my body, but I don't identify as a man. So he could be he, she.
Yeah.
Today. Shelby's like, no, he can't. I I'm just talking
sorry.
about.
I'm so sorry.
No.
but
We're talking about how as the world turns.
turns.
So today in the world, I can't. You can be a male that does not identify as a man, or you might be a female that identifies fluidly. You have
okay.
The world turns,
I need a
so that
definition.
means-
I've heard that term.
Yeah.
I need a definition. What is fluidly?
So
It could be gender
yeah.
fluid.
So that means
Either
that-
or?
Yeah.
Right, either or.
Yeah.
and that's who you mate with,
yeah.
right? So that's who you mate with, right? So sexually, if I'm fluid, I just love
I don't
people.
have a preference.
Right? I just love.
There's no
I love what I
preference.
love. I love who I love.
Love energy.
Right.
They say I love energy. So
Right.
Yeah.
whether you're a male or
You gotta use your mic.
whether you're a male or a female, I am attracted to energy, not
Right.
me, but,
Right.
You know.
Right.
I identify as a millionaire.
Hallelujah.
Okay, I can go with that one. I like
Hallelujah.
that one.
There is
But
a lot.
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm in theater also.
Uh-huh.
We do a lot of musicals, and sometimes they ask the girls to play guys.
Mm-hmm.
And my personal opinion, I love everybody also. I am the PR officer for our Prism Club. Our Prism Club is the LGBTQ plus club at our school. And the reason why I accepted that job was because I love everybody. I support everybody. And because I go to church, they think I hate gay people.
Right.
They think I hate people that of that nature. I don't. I love people. I love hanging out with people. I love being around people to the point where I dedicated myself to learning more.
Yes.
Then I became the
That's very big.
officer to learning more.
Yes.
Then I had parties with the people that I learned more with.
Yes.
And godly parties with
Yeah.
nice music.
You all right? You
With nice music. And with that, I think the thing that people were so outraged about was respect. Because you don't know how many times I've heard somebody say, well, you are biologically this, so I'm going to just call you this. But they say, well, I want you to call me this. If I have a nickname that I'm uncomfortable with my nickname, if there's another Layla in the room, I'm uncomfortable with there being, not saying that I'm uncomfortable with the girl, I'm saying I will be uncomfortable with trying to figure out which person are you talking about.
Okay.
So I have people that call me Michelle, which is my middle name. Same thing. If somebody else says, I recently went through this change, or I don't feel this way, even sometimes they don't have to explain it.
Right.
They can just say, hey, I appreciate you for trying to be respectful, but this is what I identify as. I think it's always about respect. I'm telling you, I say this to my friends all the time. I said, if we all just respect each other when it comes to this topic, there would be minimum controversies.
Yes.
Because
I agree.
because I understand if people don't get it,
Right.
fine, knock yourself out. Cool. But there's also respect. If somebody comes up to me and say, hey, you called me a female today, I will respect if you call me, if I identify as a male,
Right.
can you please do this? I will respect that because that's their preference.
So I wanna make sure I'm clear though. So we always want to say I love everybody, and that's as we should.
It's love.
Christ magnified love. Christ is love. And so it's never about shaming. It's never about judging because the world never wants to be judged. What I appreciate, though, is in your respect, you did not assimilate. That's what we have to be careful of. Just because I accept you, I love you, doesn't mean I have to agree with you.
Right.
Yes.
And sometimes people want to force my agreement just because I love you. And as wrong as it is to condemn, it's also wrong for you to force. We can't force our religion on anybody else, nor can you force your lifestyle on me. And so what I want to say is, as the world is turning and as people identify differently, you got to be careful. Chan said something so powerful. He said, it's not about what I am biologically, it's about how I feel. Well, the problem with that is Scripture tells us that the heart is deceitful. The heart lies. And so when we get caught up in our feels, the problem with being in our feels are our feels change. And so we got to be real mindful as the kingdom that we understand I can respect you. I can love you. I'm not going to lie to you. The scripture, people ask me, well, Pastor, how do you feel about the LGBTQ community and how do you feel about the lifestyle? It doesn't matter about how I feel. It doesn't matter what my personal opinion is. Here's what that book right there in front of me that tells me. The book tells me that when the God that I serve created man and woman, he created man and woman. That's what I know. I have to proclaim what the book says. Now, there's a lot that has happened in life. There's a lot that has happened in this world. We have an enemy that is evil, that has permeated this world, and a lot of things have transpired. All I know is what the book says, and I have to proclaim and believe that. I can love you, I can respect you, I can honor you, I can hang with you, I can go to the kickback with you, I can do a lot of things, but I can't be in a position where I don't believe what thus saith the Lord.
That's right. Chandy,
Amen.
go ahead. Chandy, did you have something you was, because he was.
I don't want to start it's underneath this umbrella. I don't want to start any whole new topic, but I just know social media has affected a lot of this.
Amen. You're right, Chandler. You're right.
What we were exposed to 5-6 years ago is not what we are exposed to today.
Right.
Absolutely.
There was a time where there was the community, but there were only like a few letters. Then the letters started exceeding. Some people, they were like, I don't want to be in this community because there's already 7,000 people right here. I want to start something else. And that goes back to the identity thing. It's just they don't feel like they're accepted just because they're not individualized. They want to create something out of it so they can feel special about themselves instead of realizing that they're already special because it's only one of them.
Right.
So they want to create something and feel like, oh, I started something. Now it's people behind me following me instead of, oh, no, I was born as whoever I was, no matter the gender, race, color, anything like that. Right. I was born as me. Yeah. I'm me. Don't worry about who I identify as, who I engage with, or who I hang with. It's just me.
And I want to make sure that I'm clear because I've even had conversation with some of my members, and I want to be clear about the culture of we're going to deal with church culture in another month, but the culture of Paramount Baptist Church. Everyone is welcome here. Right? There's no judgment. I don't care how you identify. You're welcome in the household of the Lord, and this is the Lord's house, right? And there's no bashing, and there's none of that, right? At the same time, the same way I have to preach against overconsumption of alcohol, the same way I have to preach against fornication, the same way I have to preach against lying and backbiting and gossiping. I have to proclaim what God said about our sexuality, about our bodies. So I'm not bashing when I say what thus saith the Lord. Now how you consume that, how you deal with that, those are personal decisions. But I want to be clear. We're not turning away anybody because of how you identify or because of who you love. We love you if you love Jesus Christ. The work of the Holy Spirit is the work of the Holy Spirit. That's not my job. My job is to tell you what the book says. Your job is to then interpret that and use it for your own life.
Yeah, definitely. But we have to get moving here, gang. And I'm so grateful that you guys came along for this ride with us here. As we've been talking about world culture and the influence of the world in the kingdom. And so before we get ready to, say goodbye to everyone, I'm going to just go around the table. Hey, Layla, start with you. Biggest thing for the 2-week period of time that you discovered?
I discovered that different perspectives can have different opinions, and that can be okay. I discovered that the church is not a place of judgment; it's a place of praise. That's a big thing that I've been told by society is that if you go to church and you're gay or whatever, they're going to judge you or they're going to kick you out and things like that. And I know based off of what you said that this isn't a place of judgment. You don't have to be a specific criteria, and I respect that.
It's awesome.
Elder.
Wow, I think probably most impactful is from this discussion about identity and just thinking how in some way we all have struggled or struggle with identity, maybe not the him, her, them, they, but knowing who we are even in Christ and knowing who God has called us to be. And a misunderstanding of identity is also a misdirection of purpose, because you have to know who you are to know what you're supposed to do and where you're going. So that's probably one of the biggest things.
Definitely. Sister Dees.
Well, a lot has happened over these last 2 weeks. I think the biggest thing, because even though it's kind of something that I knew, but just kind of hearing it again about the portals and how we have to be mindful of how we receive things with our eyes and our ears. Sometimes we don't realize that, like, okay, I'm on social media or I'm watching this on TV or listening to this. And if you're using both portals at the same time, that's something even different, and probably is magnified. So kind of being more mindful of not just the food that I consume, but the other things, because just like food feeds my body, there are things that feed my spirit. So you have to be mindful of those things that you allow to enter into the portals that will essentially kind of house or you house in your temple.
Yes, definitely. Sister Shelby.
One of the big things that these past 2 weeks, we just talked about it, was fashion. I think what I got out of the conversation, discussion with everybody is what you wear kinds of tells the world or the people what your intentions are. So let's try to remember that our clothes kind of tells people who I am.
Wow.
Okay. Brother Chandler.
And what I'm about.
Yeah. Brother Chandler.
These past 2 weeks, something I've gained from this is that, I'm knowledgeable about is no matter the age group or the age gap, we all are experiencing the world together and the changing world together. Now, some may have more experience in certain things than other people.
Absolutely.
But we're also learning new things together. When it's portrayed to us, maybe you might get it an hour earlier, but I might get it an hour later. Somebody might get it a month later. But we all experiencing the world changing around us together.
Definitely. As Pastor said, as the world turns, Pastor, over the course of the past 2 weeks, what has it been for you being a part of this group, this panel here?
Yeah, I think, man, the biggest takeaway for me is I get a chance to serve some dope people. To be up here with you all and to listen to the level of intellect and the different experiences and the different perspectives. Listen, Scripture tells us that we are many members of one body, and we can all be, to Chan's point, we're all experiencing life at different rates from different areas, but we ultimately are all a part of one body, and we need each other. I've gained so much insight from each of you over the last couple of weeks. And this is the reason why I'm a peacock proud pastor, because I get a chance to serve some really dope folks. So that's been my takeaway.
And definitely we want to thank all of you who joined us for the past 2 weeks here in this special episode of Beyond the Sermon. But before we go, as we always do, let's let everybody out there know how they can be a part of sowing into the ministry here at this church.
Yes, sir. So again, our ability to project the gospel and our ability to be able to share perspective, none of this stuff happens by happenstance. This all requires resources, and no one from the federal government or the state government or the local government is sowing into the life of Paramount Baptist Church. It's the believers, it's the kingdom. We fund this type of interaction, and so if you believe in what Scripture says, that that we don't want to be robbers of God, that we want to make sure that we put ourselves in a position to be blessed by God. You do it through your tithes and through your offering, through your giving, and we believe this is good soil. So you can always use any of the methods that are on the screen, whether you're mailing it, whether you go to our website, ParamountBaptistChurch.org, go to the give button, whether you're texting 77977, whether you're going to Cash App, whether you're here on Sunday morning and you're putting it in the basket. At 9 a.m. However you're here, listen, we are trying to do kingdom business. And I believe that when we are faithful to God, God is faithful back to us. And so we want to thank you in advance for doing just that through your giving.
All right. And again, thank you all for joining us, our panelists, Sister Leda, Elder Fred, Sister Teresa, Sister Shelby, Brother Chandler. Thank you guys for joining us this past 2 weeks. It's been an exciting 2 weeks, Pastor.
It really has.
It's been exciting 2 weeks. It's totally different than Pastor and I just kicking back, talking what we did. This was really great. This was really special. And we want to thank all of you for joining us here. Again, if you enjoy it, definitely send some likes on Facebook. Tell us, send some stuff in the chat and YouTube. Just let us know. Share all of that stuff. Definitely share, because we want to make sure that this content is getting out to everyone. So, as our pastor would normally say, we love you. Oh, wait a minute.
One more shout out. Shout out to our director, Dr. Shannon Williams.
Definitely.
She put all of this together, so we thank Dr. Williams for that.
Definitely. And as Pastor would normally say, closing out, we love you with the love of Christ.
There's absolutely nothing you can do about it, regardless to how you identify.
Because here at the Mount, y'all know what we're going to say? We
are
one. Take care. We will see you guys next week.
Have a great night.
One faith, family, and seed. We are one. Hello, and welcome to Paramount Baptist Church. Here are your weekly announcements. Our 2023 campaign focus is on creativity, defining culture, connecting, and commitment. Stay with us, and let's go. The new preaching series is underway, so be here every Sunday as we continue to grow and learn as the world turns. Have you been watching the Beyond the Sermon podcast? You don't want to miss out on some great discussions about true lessons for living. Tune in on Tuesday night at 7 with our Peacock Proud Pastor. Parents, remember to bring your children ages 4 to 12 to Children's Church, offered every second and fourth Sundays. Looking for a safe and convenient place to bank? Have you started that Christmas savings account? It's not too late. Stop by the Paramount Credit Union and speak to a representative about all the services they offer. In need of prayer? Join the Mountain Prayer Conference Call every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30. Trusting God through hard times. Ladies, we also look forward to connecting with you on Thursday mornings at 7 a.m. for our Women's Prayer Conference Call. The Gap Ministry will have real talk on the real issue. Are you grieving the Holy Spirit? Let's hear from you on June the 1st at 7 p.m. Young ladies ages 6 to 18, you should be shining brightly for the whole world to see. Are you letting your light shine? Join our Diamonds in the Rough ministry, where you will learn and do so many new and fun activities. The tradition has returned, and the Diamonds in the Rough will be hosting a formal cotillion on July 22nd at the Waldorf JC's, honoring our two seniors, Taylor Foster and Mahadia Long. See Dr. Shannon Williams to secure your seat. Have you found and made your way back to your in-person Sunday school class? The teachers are waiting to welcome and receive you back immediately following the worship service. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are raising awareness. Join the Body and Soul Ministry Monday, May 22nd at 7 o'clock p.m. for an open discussion on mental health, facilitated by Dr. Shannon Williams. This concludes your weekly announcements.